Meh. Meh. I didn't let, I was a little short, ladies and gentlemen, on when I let the speakers go live. I wanted to do that when we were still in the, we'll be here soon. Because there was a little bit of funny stuff. Carneros, resub, 102 months. I think he is the league leader.
He's pretty close. I've seen one person I think longer, but I don't know.
So
it's really close.
We're gonna say, there's, you guys can't see it, but they make me do this. Okay. Hey, welcome to Push to Talk. It is May the 6th, 2023, episode 3062 and a half. Because we do
and a half.
Yeah,
a date which will live in infamy.
It is. Because we do this like in Star Trek time, right? So we have our own, edition number calculation. So there we are. We are accompanied here today by a number of people. Obviously, the folks you see, myself, Eric, McLeod, Caleb, Soth, and we have, of course, the infamous and stunning Don Rea. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if Horrendous has woken up yet, so maybe he'll be here, maybe he won't. Caleb, they're always here, and Soth and McLeod. And that's everybody. Shit, I'm out of names. But you never know.
We might have a wild Dirk or Bard Ghost maybe appear halfway through, or potentially even somebody else. Like, you never know. Like,
yeah. We're trying to figure out if we wore them out in the 2.5 hour pre-show that we had, or if
do you really think you can wear out Dirk? There's no wearing out Dirk.
It really
forget about it.
It determines how much Red Bull he's had. Jack Lee. That's like a southern name in the U.S. Jack Lee Babaloo. Jack Lee Eve. 60 months. Thank you very much.
Tier also 1. For Zion,
That's a tier 1.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
That's awesome.
So, like, obviously, we kind of have to, say thank you to Carneros for subscribing for 102 months. 102 months. Like,
what's that in dog years?
I just a billion. I don't know, something
like that. Yeah.
714 dog months.
There you go.
And also Zainobi, thank you very much for that Prime sub.
17 years as a dude. Welcome as dude. We've got our welcome, our mostly, fun people here, obviously. By the way, in the audience today, since it is the 20th anniversary of Eve, right? We kind of want, if you have something you want to talk about in the streamer chat, like something that was important that happened in Eve to you, or something that happened to you, right? This is as much interaction with you guys in the chat as it is just us blabbering, right? So,
give us your horror stories.
Yeah, since we're doing the 20th anniversary, are we still implementing the Dawn rule here?
I think we can skip it, right?
For 4 minutes already.
Well, for the Dawn rule, we need to do 20 years of it. So
20 years of the Dawn rule. By the way, anybody out there who has the technical ability to do cool and interesting things with Twitch overlays, hey, we want to talk to you. So reach out to us if you do, because we're looking at redesigning and doing some stuff with us. Canero said Horrendous has the perfect facial expression. That really is Horrendous's perfect facial expressor down there. That is so true. And Zenobi, Twitch Prime, thank you. Don't forget your Jassy Bucks, formerly Bezos Bucks. You can subscribe to the channel for free if you've got Amazon Prime. Nice one, Carneros. That's a good one. By the way, yeah, so let me start out here. So Groomba Freehand, right? 2007, probably around the same time. I don't know, maybe a little earlier. The best man, went to college with him. Best man on a wedding. He hooked me into to playing Eve. I played for about 6 months, then stopped for 6 months because that was boring as fuck, all by yourself, and getting your mining shit stolen from you and getting blown up and all that stuff and all the stupid things a newbie does. But then I came back and I found a group called Hidden Agenda, and eventually we ended up in a wormhole, and then from there eventually found our way to Xe. and then found our way to Patriotic Tendencies and Goonswarm. Actually, was allied with Goonswarm when it was the CFC. So that's kind of a little how I got started. But yeah, I see that. Our old friend told me about this game. You know.
Did they like you or not?
Hold it. Hazitude has a doctorate in MS Paint, so we got to make sure we reach out to him, McLeod. Make sure.
Oh yeah, doctorate in MS Paint, fucking for sure, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We want to leverage that. We would love to bring your MS Paint skills to a wider audience for sure.
By the way, if anybody thinks we're not as fun as we used to be, it's because we're not allowed to drink anymore. So nobody has their their IV.
Well, what do you mean? That's rubbish.
MSPHD. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking
water. Clearly water.
Coffee.
Apple juice.
But it only mentions alcohol and drinking. It doesn't say anything about blood testing or anything like that. So
that's why he's got an IV in, hasn't he?
Got the old IV.
Yeah.
So that's always there. So
Caleb's just working the system here.
Let's go. Who wants to really start with some event, something that happened in Eve? Funny. By the way, it could be something that didn't publicly happen.
Can it be evil?
Something in comms. It could be evil.
Well, I can share how I started in EVE Online, which is kind of funny, because it's all the way back in beta phase 3, and a friend of mine recruited me to his rather sizable group that came from Jumpgate, and they had been playing that for a while and already knew each other. So I want to say there was like nearly 100 people already in the group that was formed, and I was really entertained, and I really liked the premise of EVE Online. And well, let's just say that when we launched, I decided to steal half of the members and break up the entire group and shit on the CEO. So that's how I started EVE Online with 50 odd dudes, which of course gave quite a head start, right? So that was kind of fun. And it was basically based on one simple premise. Can you calculate opportunity cost? If not, you're not worthy of being a CEO.
Jesus.
Okay then, Gavlin.
That's rough, because Kevin does not understand opportunity cost or budgeting.
Sounds like we need to somehow find and have Gevlin Goblin on.
Oh my god, that could be the funniest episode ever.
That could be a bit of a car crash.
We could invite Aerith as well.
Omri responds for you. This is the way. Drama and destruction.
Nice.
So yeah, it's excellent.
So Destiny versus Kevlin Goblin. That could be amazing.
I don't know. By the way, just a quick shout out. Not that she watches the show, but to my real life sister. Happy birthday, sis. I did it. Now I can clip this and send it to her. All right.
Happy birthday, Eric, sister.
Did you make sure you're not muted?
No, I didn't. But since you mentioned, I looked down and I am indeed not muted. So hey,
might be worthwhile.
Technological win for once.
Mm-hmm.
So McLeod, how'd you get started in EVE? What was that whole thing? And how long ago was it? How long ago was that, Caleb, that you started?
Beta phase 3 is I want to say November 2002, I think.
Okay. I think that way predates me, but yeah.
It predates almost anyone, because hardly anyone was in until phase 3. So anyone before that was all alpha testers and people that was personally networked to CCP devs back then.
Oh god, it's 11 minutes in. Why are you talking about EVE stuff?
Hey, we waived the dawn rule. If you can't be to the meeting on time, get out. I mean that's.
I was at the meeting.
Okay.
I was at the meeting for hours, Eric. But
hey, welcome, Dirk.
We've waived the dawn rule for today. That is fair enough, given that it is obviously the 20th anniversary of EVE Online today. just as a point, like it is literally today is the 20th birthday for EVE Online going live. I don't know if that's been mentioned
today.
Welcome to 10 minutes ago, Doug.
Yeah, see, I'm doing well already today as I come in late and
Caleb has established that it's his fault.
Well, not really, right?
Before the game even got released, Caleb was initiating corp drama, stealing members, stabbing people in the back. It was a very EVE thing to do.
Yeah,
it's all his fault.
But you set the trajectory of the game.
But remember, I was punished because all the Euros had to wait. Was it 2 or 3 weeks from launch to actually get the shipping? So all the Americans were already in and playing, and we were sitting there twiddling our thumbs, being really, really mad.
You know, I'm gonna say in the long term, Caleb, you were punished by getting to play the game.
That's true. That was the real punishment.
I did just want to point out as well, Caleb, that is roughly the shipping time for the EVE merchandise store, so that tracks.
Golf clap. We need that animation, by the way. Golf clap.
That is true.
By the way, Carneros.
The EVE merch store.
Yes. Carneros from his current company's account has tweeted congratulations to EVE. That is super cool. That's like that one in Vegas where the one goon who was the pilot said something at the end of his announcements, like the Matani sends his regards. Do you guys remember that?
Carneros, send us a link to the tweet, and we will repost it in the chat because you will almost certainly be timed out by the bot.
No. He won't be timed out for sharing links. He's a founder, baby.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. You gotta understand, Carneros.
We will absolutely we'll retweet your tweet and give you some extra visibility. And yes, Carneros is a big deal. We love Carneros.
Actually, yes.
Will retweet his tweet?
I think I only met Carneros once at Vegas, drinking heavily, and
yeah, that too. Jesus. My God, it's already been a long day, and I've only been awake like 4 hours.
Oh no! Is he seriously timed out? Can you believe this bullshit?
Say what now?
Someone baited him.
That's not fair.
It's the new bot being awkward.
Refrain from spamming. That is a weird Streamlabs. Refrain from spamming symbols. Eh?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Copy link address. There we. Oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sorry about that, Carneros.
Yeah, that's.
You were being suppressed.
So somebody has clearly taken the bot and removed its regular, normal kind of sane programming and put a generative AI program into that. Obviously. Absolutely,
that's terrible. By the way, I am amazing how amazing Chat GDP 4.0 is. That's pretty amazing.
That might trigger a few of us in here.
I'm gonna
I can tell that Caleb is like biting his tongue.
I am, and it's way too early to trigger us like that. We have other topics we need to talk about before we talk about AI and chatbots.
Yeah,
absolutely. So we're going around the room. Did we ever actually get to yours because we had a lot of interruption there, McLeod?
No. I started. Well, my main character started in 2008. I think I may have had one account or something of that form, and I tried the like, you know, did the sort of classic 2-week free trial or whatever a couple of times, and it didn't I didn't gel with it or whatever, for whatever reason. But at some point it stuck, and then like, yeah, that account was sort of around about November 2008. And yeah, from there I was like in, you know, I had a few friends like that started playing with. My first, so one of the weird things is my first corporation was Lightspeed Enterprises, which is weird because you might know, some of you might know out there and might know Lightspeed Enterprises. I had no idea who Lightspeed Enterprises were at the time. I think I randomly fell into Lightspeed Enterprises at some point. They weren't really any kind of thing in any particular group, I think, at the time. But then I ended up going to a couple of other corporations that were kind of high-sec based, and then ended up in a corporation that was in an alliance, in a sort of like high-sec, low-sec alliance, that tried to actually make that jump, that jump from high-sec, low-sec to null-sec. And what we did was, and this is slightly embarrassing, is we rented space from IRC, which, if you don't know who IRC is, it's Intrepid Crossing. So we tried to rent some. We ended up renting some space from them in like Cobalt Edge kind of area, like way back in the Dronelands, right? And it seemed to go fine. We were concerned as to sort of how we were going to get our stuff there, but they had jump freighter routes to get stuff there. But they rug pulled us. They actually rug pulled us. Like, we got our stuff there, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're reneging on our agreements. You need to move your stuff out." And we were like, "Oh, okay, that's fine, so long as we can use your jump freighter service." And they were like, "No, you're not allowed to." And we were like, "What the fuck?" So, I think me and a friend, we had to sort of move our stuff, and I moved a freighter through wormhole space, a couple of freighters through wormhole space in order to get stuff out. But I just want to point it out, me and a friend, me and a couple of my friends got serious chips on our shoulders for that shit, right? That was super toxic thing to do that stays in people's memories for a while, quite some time, in actual fact. I ended up, joining, another corporation, another alliance kind of thing. Finally ended up being in Razor, right, up in Tenal. Well, firstly, I moved about a bit in sort of in the north, but ended up in Razor in Tenal. About the time, and if any of you guys remember it, that IRC started poking Tenal quite heavily, and the CFC kind of reacted. We started sending stuff into their space, and at the time, I was kind of learning how to be a scout. And I scouted a system called, and I was looking for this as the show was starting. I scouted a system called QTAG VTWJ, right? Which is a system two systems deep down a pipe in Cobalt Edge, and found a supercap assembly array. Yeah, exactly. And I reported this back, and we thought. I think at some point somebody in the higher ups in Razor said, "You know what? Going over there and kicking this thing into reinforced is a good way of basically saying don't fuck with our space in Tenal." And for some reason, IRC didn't see that as that, and carried on with their campaign of SBUing things and stuff like that in Tenal. And so, the rest of the CFC kind of got involved. Interesting. And if you guys don't remember the whole kind of campaign to just take space in Tenal, take space in Cobalt Edge from Tenal, there was a point at which there was going to be a massive fight, and I don't think IRC ever expected it, but somehow, some way, the CFC stealth moved Supercaps and Titans all the way up through Cobalt Edge and just basically decimated everything up there, which was just fucking wild. But I felt personally responsible in finding that one Supercap assembly array. That sort of felt like it kicked it off, or at least kicked it into high gear. And in some way, shape, or form, that felt like vindication to me for them basically rug pulling me all the way back. Which is cool. That is, to me, I think that's a really cool kind of arc. And that's one of the things that I always remember from this game.
That is cool. By the way, so somebody said they couldn't hear me too well, and it looked like all the controls and everything looked pretty good. I did move my microphone up here into stealth position, as you can see right there. If that sounds better, let me know in chat. We'll try and fix anything that's not going around. So yeah, that was a great story, McLeod. How about you? How about you, Soth?
Stuff that is there anything that you can say about the stuff that you've done?
Or just how we got started or anything. By the way, thanks for the follow.
I can say things about how I got started. Similar story to Mac, really. I started out in 2007, 2008, roundabout. Did the whole, free 2 weeks. And then figured it's not for me, right? And then a friend of mine kept pestering me about EVE and was like, "Oh yeah, just join up." And I had forgotten the password to my account, so that's the story behind my name, because it's actually Sothersil, and I added the R because the character was already taken by me, right? I was just too lazy to get the account back because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to quit in 2 weeks again, right? Which for a while was actually true. If you look at it, I made that account in 2009, and I didn't do anything in EVE until 2011, which is when I really started doing things in EVE. First in high sec, and then I joined Goons half a year later. And yeah, then it kind of went quickly, right? I did things with Top Goon, and for those who don't know what Top Gun used to do, we would go deep into enemy space and basically disrupt everything they do there. So we would camp gates, we would harass people making money in any shape or form, just hot dropping everywhere while also camping gates. And the thing about Top Gun was it was a small group, right? So everyone had to do something. So I started scouting for the group, and 2 weeks later it was literally like, hey, the FC has to go. Yeah, I guess Soth has a scout, so you can take over. Here you go. And that's how I got into FCing.
Just throw it into the deep end.
Yeah, it's like, well, you've been here for 2 weeks. You can FC now.
By the way, I want everybody to raise their hand who hasn't been yelled at in Fleet by Soth.
I've never been yelled at in a Fleet by Soth.
Technically, I haven't, because I haven't actually been in Goons as such, but I have been in, obviously, sort of like coalition fleets, right? So.
Okay, guys, don't count.
I believe I was on one fleet myself.
And been yelled at by Soth. Never.
Not personally, just Soth ranting or yelling at people because they're stupid.
I have definitely been yelled at in a fleet by Soth.
Okay.
Yeah. Does real life count?
Real life.
Often the yelling consisted of, "What the fuck? Why isn't this shit in cargo yet? I've been asking for this for 3 months."
Just add just a quick question to Soth.
Are you potentially confusing Soth with Asher there, Arendis? Because
No. Anything like
actually like good changes that were needed.
Yeah. As with Asher, we just we take random items. We take random items and put them in, and just like strontium clathrates definitely needs to be in this eagle fit. Let's see.
Oxygen isotope.
Yeah, let's get some fuel box in there.
I remember we had one fit where we had enough ammo to shoot our guns for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Dude, at one point we had a fit that, no joke, the import version, the version for the importers, and the version that had to be up on contract used cargo hold expanders.
Yeah,
I also remember those periods. Yes.
Because it needed 2 completely different cargo loadouts for the different weapons that Asher wanted on the ship.
Yeah, definitely. That's a period in time that we had.
Wow.
Right. It seems we need to correct our microphones, but Sebulba is not telling us who needs to correct their
microphones.
Well, yeah.
Like Eric, just fix all of our microphones. Thank you.
Yeah.
To be fair, we do have 2 kind of like squirrely outliers here. One is Arendis's like microphone gain has a mind of its own, like, and we've never been able to figure out how or why.
Seriously, Discord just fucks with it. I don't understand why. Sometimes, like in the middle of a sentence, I will suddenly be out in the middle of nowhere, away from the microphone.
We have been trying to fix Arendis' microphone for like 5 years at this point,
and it's definitely not the headset because it's persisted across 3 of them.
Well,
so I'm taking. By the way, I'm lowering.
I need to get closer. Do you like this more, Sebulba? Should I talk like this the entire show now?
Sothrusel is going ASMR.
What are you on about, so?
Yeah.
Dude, that is so fucking sexy.
German ASMR right here.
Yeah, right.
Can you stop plugging your OF here?
Sebulba just did a chair.
Thank you very. By the way, thank you very much for the bits, Sebulba.
Okay, ignore what I just said, Soth, and continue.
Caleb suddenly got louder for a second there.
I will continue like this.
Well, by the way, guys,
but also, Mac, who was the other? Who was the other one that you had an issue with there?
No, it's Erik and it's. Oh, right, there we go.
Arendis is in the bathtub again.
Arendis is in the bathtub, so now we gotta try and fix him a little here.
Yep.
Okay,
this
is a weird thing.
We
do our best, guys. We do our best.
This is like pre-rock concerts. Okay, Arendis, go check one. Go ahead.
Check 1.
Check back normal again.
Check 8, check 30, check 27.
And yeah, Erik does just sometimes like randomly mute, so that's
yeah, I do when I'm doing other like producing things, going through things. But I did go through all of our through the beacon system and everything, and beacon just blanked out. Oh, there it is. It's back again.
Wait, what beacons? Gondor calls for aid.
Yeah. So how's that sound, folks? Sound a little better? Well,
I mean, it sounded pretty decent. Like the thing that I wrote.
Us, right?
The only caveat that you have is your random moments where you like mute yourself for some reason, and we also haven't been able to figure that one out.
No, we still don't know why that happens. Sometimes
we don't. Sometimes it happens when I go to the mixing system. But let's hope we got the sound in tune. It's always a little hard for us to understand and see some of that stuff. So we appreciate when you put it in chat to help us out.
Yeah, very much so.
Just trust when we go on here, we all sound the same to each other, and we do have some mixing capabilities.
Whoa, Erik.
Whoa,
Some of us don't have American accents.
See, the thing is,
suddenly gone back in the bathtub.
The thing is, I can hear Arendis trying to mic up and speak, but like he's so low.
I had Arendis at like 192%, right? He's the only one that's boosted, right?
Yeah, and yet he still sounds in a bathtub half the time because his headset just does not like to play well.
It's not the headset. We know it's not the headset. We've tested it with different headsets.
Alright, so his Discord just doesn't like to play well with others. Like,
oh wow, Sebulba.
Oh, 500 bits.
500 bits. Wow, thank you.
Dude, you are really giving us
some... And to everyone out there, we hope this has been entertaining.
I think, strangely enough, like your microphone cleared up straight away, Arendis, when those 500 bits suddenly dropped.
We are saying absolutely nothing about that because that's not how we do things here at Push.
By the way, correlation is not causation, just as an FYI.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
Maybe my microphone clearing up caused that.
You never know. You never know.
But I can't get over what Laszlo has said there.
Yeah, I almost timed him out for that one.
Hey.
Yeah,
hey,
no, that's
I'm just
completely wrong.
I'm just pointing out.
That is heresy on today of all days.
In our staff chat, where I was
very much so,
sharing with you British people coming to America and going to places like Waffle House. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that just biscuits and
gravy.
And
they loved it.
And they loved it.
Well, no. Well, they loved it. I'm gonna say that my response to that video was exactly correct, and the only proper way to appreciate American food is by describing it as pure diabetes.
That's only the Waffle House. Okay.
So
no, it's not.
So I quoted a thing
Definitely
from that particular. I quoted like something that they said about Waffle House, which I thought was just hilarious, and that kind of summed up the entire thing. They were saying like that it seems that they just add extra fat, extra sugar, and if you ever ask yourself a question when cooking, maybe I shouldn't, and then answer it with, nah, I will.
I will.
That's basically their entire approach to cuisine.
That's a fat point. That's a very fat point.
Yep.
Okay.
So
that's our little diversionary for the mid show.
That was a bit of a food section.
Mm-hmm.
We had a little bit of that, by the way. So that leads into if
that's how taste
ever talk the Brits and the German to come to the U.S. Arendis and I are just going to take everybody on a tour of food, and we're just going to film it. It's going to be hilarious. We're going to have a great time.
I will say, I have promised Bruden from Conflict University. Shout out to Bruden and Conflict University for being great about introducing new people to EVE, by the way. If you're here with us on the 20th anniversary edition of Push to Talk, and you haven't played EVE yet, if you do stop playing EVE, join Conflict University, because they will get you sorted, they will get you there. They're great people. Lovely, lovely community. But I have promised Bruden my first biscuits and gravy as and when I get to the US.
He can just
so
we'll just bring him along.
That's the thing.
Just more the merrier. That's the way we operate here. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Bruden has capitalized on my first biscuits and gravy, which is, by the way, just scones and sausage sauce.
No, we've established it's not. No, Southern biscuits are different.
They're not scones. They just look like them.
The recipe the recipe is exactly the same. It's a scone.
No. Do you have Bisquick? No. So yeah.
No, Dirk. We might be.
Clearly, it's not because
we might be applying Cornish.
No, Eric. They have Sconquick.
Sconquick. Which is a concrete.
America hasn't been around for long enough to imply the Cornish pasty rule, Bargos.
That's right.
I don't mean that. I mean the rule where it has to be made in the place to get the name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're too young of a country to have that sort of rule. They're too young of a rule. Too young of a country to have that rule.
So Bargos has joined us. That's great. So Arendis, did we get your
I've been here ages.
Joining EVE thing?
Nope.
Go for it, brother.
Okay, so I first joined EVE repeatedly. Kind of similar to Soth's tale. A friend of mine got into EVE real early and kept telling me, "Oh, you gotta play this game. You gotta play this game." So I would start up a character and try and get through stuff. And my friend would, take very, very good care to completely ignore me. And I would quickly just get bored with it and stop playing. And this repeated several times until finally in mid-2009, different friends of mine said, "Hey, listen, we're going to try this EVE thing." And my response was, "Oh, God. You're going to hate it, you're going to want to kill yourselves, and yes, fine, I'll come help." And a year and a half later, we moved into a wormhole, and then we wound up in joining LAN, and I still don't even know how that happened. It just kind of
happened.
Sounds
like a questionable choice.
It was a questionable choice. It was a very questionable choice.
Don't worry, Rennis. We've all done something in our past that we've come to regret. Like,
well,
fine.
Like the corporation in LAN that we wound up joining, it was great. It got kicked out of LAN like a month later.
Hello.
And we wound up switching over to another corporation that then moved to FA.
Oh, so you went up in the world, did you?
In the annal of questionable choices.
Explain FA to those who may not know that there.
Fatal Ascension.
Awful.
There's really not much way to explain Fatal Ascension.
Okay.
Basically, either you experienced Zagdool or you didn't.
Well, at least it wasn't DEFCON. Come on.
It wasn't DEFCON. That's true. That's true. I was never.
Could have been SMA.
I was never in FCON. I was never in Razor, and I was never in SMA.
SMA was fine. Come on.
I was never in SMA either. But that corporation, after a while, they decided that they were going to go and create their own alliance, and so the bunch of us who had been moving together through this stuff went, yeah, have fun with that. Because
I'm out.
Like we'd been basically we joined LAN at the tail end of 2012, just in time for the campaign and tribute, and then gone straight into the Fountain War. And so all of our experience out in Null had been flying in CFC fleets. I'd started anchoring Logi. We'd had Asakai earlier in the year. There wasn't really much of a sense of, yes, we are a Fatal Ascension corporation. It was, no, we're in the CFC because that's who we flew with all the goddamn time. Like, the FCs I knew were Regalan, V. It just...
Reza?
What?
Reza, maybe?
Maybe, but yeah. not that well. But so we wound up jumping corps from Hephaestus, which is a corp that was leaving FA, into North Star Cabal in TNT, and we were in there with people like Papusa and this really raw and like everybody thought he was going to quit kid named Jay something or otherness.
Jay Maracady, right?
No, very much not Jay Maracady. But yeah, so like, at one point, and as we got more involved in stuff, like at one point, North Star was, and keep in mind this is a TNT Corp. So at one point, North Star was something like 2/3 of CFC Recon. So, like we just kept getting more and more tied into coalition level stuff rather than, corporate or alliance level stuff. And eventually I wound up in Goons because one of the group got tapped for doing something for Mittens, and he basically said, "Sure, I'll jump corp, but I want to bring these guys with me." And they're like, "All right, sure." And soon afterwards, I wound up getting this, "Hey, I hear you can fit ships."
Oops.
And so it began.
And thus began my 7 years of hell.
Can I do mine before I have to go?
Yeah. No, you have to do it after you have to go.
Oh, yeah. Fuck you.
No, please, Don, do it.
Okay, so how I started Eve is I had been playing Dota for like 7 or 8 years at that point. It was a long time. And I was like, I really want to get into an MMO, but I don't know which one. So I literally was looking up top 10 lists of like best MMOs, and like things were just not like it's in a top 10, yeah. Well, so like World of Warcraft always was like one of the top ones, and I've tried that game like 4 times, and I'm like, I hate this game. It's ugly, it's boring, it's just, you know, there's nothing about it that I like at all. So I just refuse. I won't play World of Warcraft. But then, you know, I kept seeing like Eve on there high, and I asked some questions to some people. Everyone told me, "Oh, Eve's too hard. You won't like it. Eve's no fun." Like, they're like, "Yeah, I can have some really cool battles and stuff, and like really weird shit happens," but no one would tell me like how Eve played or like what happens.
That's because
or
Eve
anything.
doesn't play. The community.
I know, right?
Eve is the Matrix. No one can really tell you.
I don't know why. I was very committed to being like, okay, let's just try it out. So I did the 2-week trial, and in the 2 weeks, I knew I actually watch YouTube videos of like how to start out Eve the best way you can, right? So I looked that up, watched it to like get into a corporation and find some people you like really quickly. I was like, okay. So I looked through corporations, and let me tell you, that corporation search area really needs a tune up. It has not changed, and it is fucking worthless.
It's never gonna change.
Well, it could if they.
It's never gonna change.
But I found one corp that like I was like, oh, I think I might like mining. You know, just collecting some materials and stuff, and you know, we'll go into PvP later. Never happens. So I joined a group called like Tranquility something, and they were like talking about like, oh, we're war decked right now, so no one's playing. It was like only one person for the group was on, and like, oh yeah, we're war decked right now, so everyone else is playing another game until the war deck's up. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm mining, and I'm like trying to be in the comms, but like no one's there. I'm lonely, so. I'm in system, and someone in system says, hey, if you want boost, join this fleet. This is when Rorquals did system boosts. Or sorry, Orcas did system-wide boosting. So I was like, oh, can I join? And then I saw the mining was great, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And I'm in a little...
so much about you, Dawn.
I'm in like a little venture, or like a coveter, a retriever or something. I don't remember what it was. I think it was an adventure still. And I was just like, yeah, look at all this stuff coming in so fast. And you can compress too. This is amazing. Like, I was having a great time. So the guy was like, hey, if you want, if you want to join our corporation, we do this all the time. And I was like, oh, okay. And since the other guys were never on, I was like, fuck it. So I switched over to Sub-Zero, which was in their own little alliance with like another group. And we lived out. Yeah.
That's a name, isn't it? Yeah.
No comment.
Hey, I loved them. But so we were living out in Rayavad, which was like 8 jumps from Amar, and I stayed in Nakatree next door mining. And that's where I spent about 7 or 8 months playing, maybe longer, hanging out with the guys in Sub-Zero, getting to know them. I actually started dating one of the guys in our sister corporation that was with us, and we were having a good time. And then we started getting war decked a lot. I was one of the few people that lost an Orca and a Nightmare in about the same 10 seconds in 2 different systems.
Oh, wow. Because
the war deckers who never left Amar came over and attacked us. It was just like, I watching like 3 Billion-esque of somebody who's like plays with, my biggest ship that I had bought was like a Mackinac at that point, other than those 2 ships. And I was like, no. So then we were like, and then with War decks, people would either go to a wormhole or a shattered wormhole or just play another game. It was killing activity because war decks were just oppressive as fuck.
Oh, they were.
So he's like, it's like, okay, we're looking at trying to get an NLSEC. So originally, we were looking at a deal with who owned Fountain at the time. It was a C name. Who owned Fountain for a while? The Culture. That's right.
Oh, so, yeah. We before we kicked them out. Like
that's the
in
funny part, right?
2017, 2018, something like that.
The Culture were actually quite good in terms of actually just communicating pretty well with people and like adhering to agreements and stuff, which was quite nice. Because I know that when Init went into sort of like basically, take the sort of space, they kept the was it the keep star there?
Yeah. So cool. There was a renting. We were presented a renting deal, which was from the culture, and it was going to be a like 20 billion ISK a month, and I was like. We were all looking around at each other like, yeah, we could maybe do it, but I feel like we're going to be slave labor out there if we do that. Because, once again, I'm rocking a hot Mackinac at that point. And, we were not going to have any protection. Like, how are we going to be able to, like, protect ourselves from, like, the locals and stuff? So then the Bastion reached out and made a deal, and we joined the Bastion. And I was with... I stayed in Sub-Zero for a couple months, and then I switched over to because goons were having more fun. So I was like, I'm gonna switch. So I switched over to why am I blanking today? Fear. Sundering. Sorry, Sundering for like 2 years. So I was in Sundering for a while, and then I switched over to Goon Wafa. But I had the most Eve-like Eve introduction, which is everybody told me not to do it, and then just the random organic interactions of the game have led me to where I am today. And I had no plan, no path, no idea like what I was like had a plan on other than I knew I wanted to fly a Titan someday. I wanted to have an avatar. The moment I saw it in the ship tray, I was like, I want that ship. Just because
Dawn wanted the butt plug.
Yes.
But he's still pathologically addicted to mining, right?
Surprising.
I think the Dominion trailer really solidified people's want to have an avatar. Like, to be completely honest, it was just holy shit.
Also, the prophecy trailer.
You mean when CCP actually made really cool trailers for like, all the new releases, right?
That kind of was a little closer to sort of how Nullseekers experienced Eve a little bit. Maybe it was a little bit idealized because it wasn't like, oh shit, like I blue screened or I black screened kind of thing. Like, there's no trailer that goes, oh sorry guys, I'm black screened, I can't do a thing. Like, But yeah.
Oh wait, the game deleted my boot, Eni.
Again.
But,
that was kind of cool, Don. You did kind of say something in there that just popped, like Cyndi Lauper. Girls just want to have fun. Somebody needs to make the song "Goons Just Want to Have Fun." Needs to happen. Brisk, get on it.
RMT Records.
Yeah, RMT Records. Get on it.
Please check this.
Yes, check.
I mean, for me, like, the difference between Bastion and Goons is I was always hanging out in Theta, and Theta was almost all Goons. And the other thing is I wanted to use the jump beacons, and the only way to do that was to be in Goons, or some of the things about the jump beacons then. So I had to be in Goons to be able to enjoy that. And I'm like, well, duh. I remember the first time I saw Supers and stuff, I was in 5C, whatever it is, the Bastion one, 7 something, right? The
Bastion one that doesn't exist anymore because the Bastion have since closed their doors.
Tomato potato here.
7-5
semantics there.
756.
Yeah, semantics.
But down there they had like 2 Sotios.
Oh, that was 7 UTB. Sorry, 7 UTB.
There we go. Yeah,
I was way off on that one.
Well, that was my brain.
My memory not quite so good. As
I remember being 7
be.
UTB. There was a Titan, a couple Supers just sitting on a Sotio, and then there's this like the group mining fleet, right? So we would warp out to the Colossal Belt, and I didn't understand anything about belts. I see all these big ships. I didn't understand like what like how to compress and stuff. Some people would be talking about compression, but I didn't understand it until I finally found somebody. Like I would snuggle up to a rook, be like, "Can I use your box?" They're like, "Yeah." Well, then I was like seeing these rocks with gas clouds around them, and I'm like, "What are those?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Mercoxit." I'm like, "Oh, what?" They're like, "What is that?" Like, "Oh, it's you have to have special mining stuff to do it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at the price and I was like, dear God, that's like 3 times the price of everything else. And then people be like, oh, we can't mine. The other belts haven't spawned yet because no one's finished their Mercoxit yet. So then I was just like, I guess I'll learn how to do that. So I became practically the #1 Mercoxit miner in Delve for about 2.5 years.
And I think many miners should be thanking you for clearing that up.
If you lived in
things spawned again.
If you lived in ZXB, you almost never had to worry about Mercoxit ever being left on a belt if I was on. Because that's what I would always mine that first because I made a shit ton of money doing it. That's how I paid for everything, almost everything I have, Titans and Supers and shit, was just, one coveter, not even a Hulk, not a Magna, a coveter. Because I didn't want to keep losing Hulks, just mining Mercoxit. And then switching to Rorquals eventually once I could do those. Hi, Razor.
Nicely done.
But that's me. Most cliche Eve story ever.
Everything that you thought you knew about Dawn was in fact
true.
Correct. Yes.
So who's next?
Ooh. Is it Dirk?
Okay.
This will be quick 5 minutes. If anybody knows Dirk, he's very succinct at what he says.
My Eve kind of story. My Eve story probably starts before I started playing Eve. I had a friend when I was in high school who had an older brother who played Eve, and it was like the way they talked about it seemed really interesting, kind of really cool. I tried it a couple times, probably around the 2007 to 2009 kind of period, and then just got distracted by real life for a long time. When I first started playing Eve as seriously as Dirk, I was it was 2014, 2015, something like that, and I was just finishing my college before I went to uni, kind of situation, and it was like, okay, I have time to dedicate to this weird game that requires so much time, basically. And then from there, I started out in HiSec. I started out doing missions. I joined a HiSec Corp. I was in that HiSec Corp for like 4 or 5 months, I think. Just kind of learning how the mechanics worked. And then I started trying wormhole stuff for a while. Wormholes, super interesting way back in 2015. Really kind of just dived in and tried to see what they were about. They were cool for day tripping, but I didn't necessarily have any support from the HiSec Corp I was in to actually go live in them. The HiSec Corp I was in, actually, super active. They were great at the time for just introducing me to the mechanics. People would run HiSec sites in battleships, and me there as a newbie who had like a Vexor or whatever back in the day, they would just let you come along and share the site payout and kind of like teach you the tips and tricks, and it was a really great HiSec Corp. It really did kind of help cement my interest in Eve as a game, but also kind of told me it told me a lot about the community aspect, for sure. So yeah, started doing some day tripping with a couple of people in that corp, and then we ended up moving to nullsec. We actually went to nullsec to one of the NC.rental groups up in what was the region? up in Malpass.
Oh, bumfuck nowhere.
Literally bumfuck nowhere, but we had at the end of a pipe system with an ice belt, and it was a nice system to like chill, do stuff, just kind of make money and be industrialists largely. Yeah, that was what most of the corp did.
But Duck, at least you didn't get rug pulled by IRC, which is what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. They were actually a great bunch of guys. The corporation management was fantastic. This was a corporation, Fusion Enterprises, which I think has jumped a couple of alliances since way back when.
Oh boy.
I recall that name. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were a name, but they were like a chill name, and they mostly did the industrial stuff at the time and built supers to sell to NC Dot, that kind of thing. It was a nice, relaxed atmosphere, but it was an atmosphere where you had people who'd been playing the game since 2003 in some cases. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of knowledge. There was a lot to learn from. And I was super happy to kind of have that environment. That was where I first started FCing. I started out doing like kitchen sink roams and home defense stuff. My ongoing hatred for the Drake started in Fusion Enterprises because we had a Drake home defense fleet that just could not move anywhere to catch anything. And I hated it.
For whatever reason,
as it turns out, the Drake still cannot move anywhere to catch anything.
For whatever reason, you feel like the Drake should be a fairly, nimble and sort of speedy ship, but it's a slow bastard. Like,
yeah, Jesus. But it looks so cool.
Like, the Drake is a nice ship, but it's just so fucking slow. It cannot do anything because it's so damn slow. So yeah, anyway. This is probably late 2015. I'm in Fusion. I started FCing, and then the casino war kicks off, and suddenly I'm deployed to Cobalt Edge, moving into Tenal, and I'm FCing smaller fleets. At the time, it was like Trasher fleets, or you'd be looking at Moas, Feroxes, that kind of thing. T1 fleets pushing into Tenal, while most of the main casino aspect is in Tribute, in Venal. We were kind of trying to come in the back door a little bit. And that was a ton of fun. That was also the first time I FC'd Macarials, because, it was one of those things where, like Soth said, you're in this fleet, and you have some experience, potentially, and you have a scout ult, and you're aware of what's going on, you're kind of in the command comms just to kind of see what people are doing, and suddenly the person in charge needs to leave, and they go, hey, you're the guy. You are now the guy.
This is sounding similar?
So, there I was, FCing Macarials, just on a... It was a very minor fleet, but it was a fleet that they decided to take Macarials to in Tenal. And so, end of 2015, I'd gone from being a literal no-name anywhere to FCing Macarials for a casino war fleet. Just because that was how it went. Then, as we kind of went into December 2015, I ended up moving to a wormhole corporation because of some inter-corporation, inter-alliance. Like, I wasn't necessarily happy about the drama, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to a wormhole place. This is where I encountered the Last Chances, who I still have as my Reddit flair, because I miss those guys. They were fantastic. But this is where I started living in wormholes for a while. I kind of learned to theorycraft with them, learned how FCing smaller fleets worked with them because obviously in wormholes you have to kind of make your fleet doctrines and FC your fleets based on the number of people you have, but also the mass of the ships that you can fit through the wormhole and then get home. Yeah, it's like you have to be able to get there and get home, which is a big thing. So that was a really cool time for me. That was probably 6 months of my life was in wormholes, maybe 8 months. And then after we got evicted from our home hold, the leadership just didn't have it in them to rebuild again. They decided that they were going to focus on their real life. And that's where I ended up in Goons. When I was in Goons, I started out in ASCII. Fun fact. I was an Ascendance character for a while. Because I had FC experience, I very quickly kind of made it into the FC groups. Started doing stuff, leading these 256-man fleets. One that I do remember quite well is killing a hurricane fleet, like a 50-man hurricane fleet, with about 35 caracals, because I managed the gate properly. That was a lot of fun. And then, slowly kind of worked my way up in the FC grouping. Macarials, again, I miss Yacht Fleet so much. Yacht Fleet was so fun. But also, Alpha Fleet. Alpha Fleet was great. We had a ton of fun with that.
Strangely enough, I miss conga lining in Alpha Fleet.
Exactly.
Weird thing, but I do.
Alpha Fleet were the days. Is this kind of thing. But yeah, so while I was in Ascendance, I was kind of working my way up through the FC rank to be a quote-unquote block FC. I never did caps, but like certainly major fights, 2017 Keepstar fights. There was one in Pureblind. I can't remember what the fucking system in Pureblind was.
X47 or...
No, it was 9 tack something. It was the other one in 2017. No, that we're talking about the other one in 2017. Because we've had so many wars in Pureblind that I feel like I've FC'd in Pureblind like 4 fucking wars at this point.
You're not.
What? Sounds like Delve.
You're not talking about KQK.
But 9 tack 4.
9 tag? Oh,
9 tack 4. It was 9 tack 4 something.
Yeah, that was the
RPQ.
watering station.
That's
Yeah.
Cloud Ring.
Oh, it's Cloud Ring. Well, it was a war to the north of us, and so you know what, this is fine. And so yeah, at that point, I also started to have. I've always had an interest in history, right? I want to know what's gone on when, and I decided to apply for Corps Diplomatique, the Goonswarm diplomatic group. That was, again, probably like late 2016. I got in. I can't talk about my 5 years in CD with too much description because a lot of it is still quote-unquote classified. But that was a ton of fun as well. I don't know. But I do want to say, the thing about EVE is not just kind of the specific gameplay stories, but the people that we've met along the way, the communities that we have. Like, we've been doing this show, I specifically have been on the show at this point for getting on for 4 years right now. And I started doing this show because Erik invited me along after nearly 24 hours fighting drifters in Nullsec in 2019, right? Like, it's the thing about EVE is you build the stories together rather than you play the game together. You build stories.
The funny thing is, 50% of the people who did that are right here.
It's so...
Yeah.
it really is just that bit where you build the relationships. You come to this show one day to talk about how the Drifters are, and you're still here 4 years later because the people are great. So I think that's kind of my epitaph to my Eve story, is that I'm still here because you guys are still great. That's it.
See what I mean? Short and succinct.
By the way, I'm laughing at chat because apparently somebody wanted to hang themselves with their wireless headset because they wanted to get your point. Okay.
You evidently have not watched me on a talk show before.
Clearly. I enjoyed.
You know what?
That was pretty reasonable and addressing the question asked for me.
But
you know what? I actually didn't read Kathora's comment before actually making my comment about your short and succinct kind of summation.
But I have to shout out Laszlo, okay? Because his response is, he's a goon, we eat crayons. I mean, that's just beautiful. I'm about to cry because
I kind of want
to
Americans.
I kind of for some reason I want to ask a question about like ship fittings to Horrendous very quickly, and it's not anything specifically. Yeah. I just want to ask because we touched on the Drake being a slow bastard, right? You know,
the Drake is a slow bastard.
The Drake is a slow bastard.
Horrendous is also in his bathroom again.
I think the few times that the Drake has actually been fun has been when we had the perma micro warp drive Drake.
Right.
Was that your invention?
Oh God, no! The perma.
Oh, okay.
The perma MWD Drake goes back so long.
Horrendous, please get out of your bathroom.
God damn it!
He's okay. He's okay.
You are, yes.
A little bit, yeah.
You were. You're not doing it anymore, but you were. Once again, Eric sound issues. Just randomly. Exactly. You didn't touch anything, but you were doing it.
Right, so...
Still your fault.
How did the mute happen?
I stopped then, though, I think.
Unknown.
So anyway, Horrendous. Micro Warp Drive Drake.
Yeah, no, the Micro Warp Drive Drake, that is old.
Is that a boat invention? Because I
don't know if boat came up with it, but
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's even older than anything Boat would have come up with. But I do know that when Boat was in his glory day, that was the fleet.
It was his go-to fleet, yeah. Literally, the first fleet I joined
murdered
when I got into Goons was a Boat perma MWD Drake fleet.
Because when you guys were basically putting the sword to IRC up north in Cobalt Edge, he used a perma micro warp drive Drake fleet, and I was in that fleet, I recall, and he straight up murdered an alpha fleet of IRCs,
oh yeah,
just decimated it, and it was such a glory to behold.
The funny thing is that they tried to adapt and tried to bomb the fleet, so we adapted again and had insta-locking canes in the fleet to kill the bombers.
But the thing is with the speed of the Drake and the fact that it goes, the fact that it's got what it's got, you couldn't really bomb it because as soon as you started launching bombs at it, you had to predict where it was, not bomb where it is.
Because it was running the micro warp drives, yeah.
Yeah, it really wasn't that fast, but that's always that is just a general function of that is just a general function of bombers. You never bomb where they are. You bomb where you think they're going to be, and you either get it right or you get it wrong. Yeah. And that's kind of how it is. But I will say, Soth's comment about his first fleet in Goons being a boat Drake fleet reminds me that my first fleet in Goons, and the thing that kind of poked me to start FCing in Goons, was actually it was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, something like that, 2016, I think, and we literally that day kicked off the war that we had in Catch with Test and CO2 and Brave when they came down from the north.
Oh god, that was
way back when.
That was,
exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a war. That was.
Hold on, when was that? That was 2017.
That was them invading.
It was an abortive deployment.
Was that them taking all of those stations?
Yeah, that was when they initially took Catch, Impasse, that kind of thing.
No, not from PL.
Okay.
From the Russians.
From the Russians. From
right. Okay.
Steinwagen.
And we were helping the Russians to try and defend it, and then the Russians were not necessarily particularly helpful, and it ended up being an abortive deployment rather than a war.
Because we can't fight their war.
But yeah, that was my first fleet in Goons, and Soth's comment there about it was a boat fleet with like Drakes, and just that first fleet. I still remember that.
I'm right there with Soth. My first fleet in nullsec at all was a DBRB Drake fleet, and I lost my scimitar.
Was it an expensive scimitar?
No. It was this was literally.
Did you have Logi 5 though?
Yes, of course I had Logi 5.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
But
yeah, we're running a terrible.
But the thing is, like I have to admit, I owe Boat so much. I really do, because
I think we all do.
Like the first time I anchored Logi was Asakai. So, without Boat, I don't even get into that.
So
it was literally, we need more Logi anchors, somebody step up.
Wait, so you anchored Logi after me?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know.
Yeah, but Arundus is better at it than you, Soth. So
I mean, yes.
See, he does it himself. I went to train the people to then train people to do the Logi anchoring, so I don't have to do shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's another like boat-related FC story that I remember. We were running in a Serb fleet, and in the command channel we had like 4 FCs. It was me, it was Havish Montak, it was Papusa, and it was someone else. And this was back in the days when CO2 were a thing. And GigX was leading a Nightmare fleet.
Are you sure it was GigX?
It was definitely GigX. We killed. We killed the. It was definitely the GigX character anyway. But we killed the GigX character. I think 3 times over the course of 2.5 hours. But there was a point. There was a point where we had GigX Nightmare fleet bubbled on a gate, and the Serbs were too close to the gate because we just jumped through, and Boat bombed us. Boat did as Boat does and bombed Blues. And then so after Boat bombed us, we had to like rotate FCing who was anchoring, who was calling targets, and then we rotated them again once we were all in pods. We were trying to anchor from scout alts in interceptors and call targets from pods. Because Boat had bombed us while we were on the gate and we couldn't get off fast enough.
You act like this.
It was lovely.
Or bad. I don't.
This is one of those things where like these are the stories that you have because they were so frustrating at the time, but they're hilarious when you remember them.
I know.
Right?
And by the way,
this is even line.
This is
even line.
That while you're listening to us tell our stories, right? We want you to tell yours in the chat, right? Because we might talk about them. They could be, and they could raise memories for anyone.
Yeah.
But I do think
if you have some fleets that you remember, we could remember them too because we were probably there.
I mean, I was in so many boat bomber fleets as well. Like, and the funny thing was, I was well seasoned in terms of bombing at that point. Like, and I was trying to help boat, like, steer these, these herds of cats like to the destination and to bomb in the right direction and all that stuff. But it was just some of the phrases just stick in your head, like boat just screaming into comms going, "Why are you dying? You have cloaks."
I know. I was laughing when you
this warp. Take this warp. If you walked, you're dead. If you walked, you're dead.
Well, there's always that one. Yeah, that's a classic one. But yeah.
Hey, I think we still have two people to tell how they got into this, right? Go ahead.
I think that it's important that we recognize that DBRB is absolutely one of the greatest assets the Imperium or the CFC ever had. Yes. He made so many other FCs so much better by having to adapt to, oh god, Boatism system.
Yeah, exactly.
He also
that really is the thing.
He also got us to realize, hey, I can do this at least as good as this guy.
That is a fair point, actually.
But no, Arendis has a very fair point, because whenever Boat was in command comms, you always had to think, okay, what the fuck is going to go wrong here?
And how do I communicate with my fleet while not being able to hear a goddamn thing?
Yeah, that's also very true.
So,
before we get to the next person, I do want to shout out Zeradef in Twitch chat, who is a first-time chatter, who says that they miss playing this game. They haven't had time in years. Rip Test. Test deserved to die by the end, but otherwise, I'm pretty sure that the people you were playing with miss you too, buddy.
I'm sure they were. I know that they were a fun and enjoyable time, and good allies at some point. I'm thinking of the Michael Bolton 3 days, that kind of time. But like, yeah.
If you missed that, I think Soldarius is in Odin's now, and they are gearing up to play in the Alliance tournament. So if you want to get back into Eve,
I mean, Odin's have had a long run in the Alliance tournament, but yeah, Soldarius as the captain for the test team is now in Odin's and doing some pretty great things. Also, I don't know why the Streamlabs bot just timed out Zeradef.
Yeah, it was literally the 3 dots.
We're gonna report that one as well. We're gonna report that one as well, and give us a second. Anyway, who's next up?
Going all fascist and shit.
The Streamlabs bot is
Veritas just got timed out as well.
The Streamlabs bot is going crazy. But who's next up for the story,
Jack?
I think it's we have Wibla and Bargos to tell us how they got started, right? And then everybody else is gone, right? So you want to go, Wibla?
Oh boy.
I have expected the response to be.
Oh, we called him out. He wasn't ready. He's not ready.
That's a long fucking time ago. I was December 2008. Was a couple of my friends. No, I was fucking sober actually. It was just after Christmas. I was bored. 2 of my friends were doing missions in HiSec, and they were like, "Yeah, this game it's pretty cool. Come try it." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And we did that in Arum of all places, in Metropolis. And I did that for a while.
Do you still speak to those guys?
I do, yes. I haven't forgiven them yet, though, but I do talk to them.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, we did some mining, we did some, missions and all the usual bullshit you do when you're a noob in this game. Mostly flailing about, learning things. And then I got into contact with this crazy fucking Norwegian that liked to smoke weed and do stuff in nullsec called Bolta. And got into a corp called Alcatraz Inc., which was in a recently restarted alliance called TNT. Which is a small alliance, with just a few hundred people in it. And they were doing a war down in the south, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? This should be fun. And then 2 years later, I'm the CEO, and fuck.
Roped into responsibility.
Isn't that what happens? Like, nobody
Yeah.
really wants to be a CEO. You just kind of get made and forced and connived into it.
I think that's a pretty good summary. Yeah. Yeah, being useful at doing shit and getting shit done at the wrong time, that's dangerous. Like, never do that.
I'm just gonna say I am
competence.
I am currently fixing the over-aggressive bot timeouts for Zerodef and Veritas because.
Oh no, I sorted that out. It's all good.
Oh, you already did that. Cool.
Yeah. There's an on timeout button, which is quite useful.
Yeah, we're like trying to beat the bot with a hammer, but it's taking a little while.
So the one person who we haven't heard from as to their start in Eve, as far as I know, is Erik, and hopefully his story won't be. Oh, you were first. Sorry, my bad.
Nobody. And Caleb and folks, Caleb's out. He's not feeling well, so we're just gonna leave him gray.
Typical Caleb.
Yeah. But I think we're missing Bargos, right? Bargos, you didn't go.
Oh God. Yeah, Bargos, go for it, man. There.
Oh,
there we go.
I mean, it's it started with Dust. Like, I was playing Dust on what, PS3? Yeah, PS3, because they released it on the one that was just about to end. And this was
playing it on anything else, so
nope. This was 2013, like beta, looking for something else to play, and just found it there randomly. Started playing it, kind of enjoyed it, and then a couple months later, it was like, wait, shit! There's an MMO that goes with this. It's not just some shooter. Oh, cool! I'll try that. Tried it, got into it, and I think, like the rest of you, bored of it after a month. I come away for another month or two, went back in, mined, spent a year in HiSec with some random corpse. They tried nicking an Orca, so I nicked it back. That was a fun shit show to watch. Then I joined Warped Intentions when they were still Provi. That was fun, but it was Provi. They were getting their shit kicked in. You all right there, Erik? I see Erik keying up and just like not saying anything.
They didn't. No. You heard me keying, but they didn't hear me keying. I was muted.
I
had to remind Stream Elements that they're not Bezos bucks anymore. They're Jassy bucks. Okay.
That is fair.
Freaking program.
Wasn't when True pure carnage. When was probably not getting their shit kicked in. I mean, we had some fun. Jin was a good FC. Oh god, Head GP was a fun one. He took bombers down there and we just started bombing everything on field. I think that was my first big fight that really racked up the kill mails. And what was it?
You guys caused all the lag with your bombs.
Probably.
No. I mean,
probably.
There's nothing like that bomb run that just like you see just like the kill mail kind of like reports coming in. Like, oh, it just feels so good.
Oh yeah, that was like a time when I'd gone from 5-10 kills to having over 100 at the end of the night. And I think it was like 100 billion of kill mails I was on. It was bloody insane. But yes, as Pure Carnage says, we definitely enjoyed ourselves. It was fun. Yes, we were getting our shit kicked in, but hey, we were hitting back. And then FanFest 2017 happened. I'm sure you know what happened there, Horrendous.
No, I don't remember.
That was the announcement of the Citadel conversions. Or faction stations to faction fortresses.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was announced FanFest 2017.
Right, yeah.
We were sat in the crowd as a Provi group, and I think the meme that sums it up would be either the Sweating Buckets one or Ralph of I'm in danger. Because we were literally sat there going, shit, we've got the highest concentration anywhere. Oh, God.
Yeah. So there's a question in the Twitch chat, which is, what happened to DBRB? Life happened to DBRB.
Yeah.
Just for some context that isn't too doxing, DBRB is a real-life teacher. He teaches, like, I think young people somewhere in the region of, like, 7 to 12 or something.
That's not terrifying enough. He's married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also got married recently. He has been back in the last few months. He's been doing a few fleets. Dude is great. Dude is wonderful. He's had some real life stuff to deal with, but he is kind of sort of back and
he's still boat.
Yeah,
he's still boat.
I'm sorry. Now that
honestly,
Me Too
like,
said this, I dread the thought of him saying he's crossed the road.
See,
people would
If
think
you
like,
cross the
yeah,
road,
it might
it's too late, you're
be.
dead.
People might think it's spooky to that he teaches.
he's such a
children.
wholesome
But, like,
guy.
he's such a wholesome guy, and two, like, have you ever known any subject that Boat hasn't picked up that he doesn't immediately make feel fun? Like, and that's the best way to teach kids is for them to enjoy it, right?
He's such a fantastic guy.
By the way,
He's so wholesome. Yeah,
he was back a while ago, and you can probably see it in our Twitch history. He ran a fundraiser, streaming event. He teaches some underprivileged kids, and he's trying to get them into being a little more athletic.
He did really well with that,
things
I
like
think.
that.
But we should promote him regardless.
I think he's a little short. We did a couple shows. We shared the link. I don't have the link handy right now. But
didn't he say
GoFundMe to fund the kids because they didn't have shoes to run in, right? They didn't have anything, and he had some donations. He had some great people. So when we talk about Bo, not only is he truly, and like you said, not only is he truly a kind human being and a good individual, certainly, he loves what he does in teaching. I mean, he dresses up for certain events, and the kids really get into it for his history classes, right? He's
already got the Admiral costume, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And he uses the Admiral costume, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's Henry VIII, I think, is the big thing that he does and teaches the kids all about it. And I think that's right. I could be wrong. But anyway, again, Something in Eve, right? None of us would know who DBRB is. By the way, if you go on YouTube, right, there's a great song about DBRB, right, done to a rendition of a Bowie tune, Major Tom, right? It's a great one. It's a nice one to listen to. It even includes his dog. But yeah, I mean, look, just think, all the amazing people, and I consider, because you guys heard me and saw some of my writing earlier, right? You guys. Right? You guys, I am better, and I have enjoyed more things because I know all of you, and that is true, right? And there are many, many other people in EVE I can say that about. DBRB is certainly one of them, right? Yeah, by the way, Pure Carnage, I mean, that's what it was. It was even shorts. They were running in what are those? What are those really rubbery, soft shoes? I forget.
Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah, they were coming in Crocs to run with no socks, nothing. These kids don't have anything, right? So, again, if we can find that link, or I can find that link, maybe I'll post
and this is a general call. I am trying to find it, but if somebody finds it faster, please do share the link, and we will get it shared again, because he is doing some great stuff. Really. Look, like the word that I've used already is wholesome, and I think that really does just kind of sum up DBRB. He is a really kind, generally like lovely person who is trying to be just generally look after people in the way that we would want people to be looked after, and he deserves our support when he does it.
Is it this one? I put it in staff.
I posted it, and yes, this is that.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
You can see
That's it.
29 days ago, I was the last donator, right? So,
I'll check in chat.
Yeah, so they have a $6,000 goal. They're at $46.25. So seriously, $5, guys. Anything. Help these kids out. You know,
If you can do, if you can't, please don't worry about it. We say this every time we talk about donations. Like, make sure that you look after yourself first. But if you can, if you've got the money to spare, this is a really good cause.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you know, you guys all know me as a kind of a big guy, and as somebody. By the way, I did post the poll earlier. I'll post it again. You know, if you're enjoying the show and have some nice thing to say about the show, please take some time to fill out that survey. The PTT sections. I know it says 9 pages. Just skip to the PTT session if that's all you want to comment about. We would appreciate anything nice you would have to say about us. But the other thing is, like when we talk about DBRB, right? Super amazing guy. And by the way, there's a lot of that in Eve, right? He's not the only one.
There really is.
But there is. And, you know, it's like you find true friends that you've never met face to face, right? It's the strange. How do you explain that to people? I look at my dad, who's in his late 70s, right? And he's like, "You've played this game for your entire married life and before, right?" Or not really. It's not that long because it's only 20 years old. I've been married longer. But anyway, he's like, you know, and you do this talk show, and why do you do it? Well, how many people can say I talk to people from all over the world every week?
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, if they ever came over here, right, they're just welcomed into your home like you just knew them. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, eating some biscuits and gravy. Not scones.
Oh, God.
You know.
God damn you, Eric.
So, but yeah, these are the fun things that Eve has brought to each of us, right?
Yeah.
Going to Vegas, people knowing who I am and freaking my wife out. How do they know who you are? And that's not your real name, right? And
classic.
I mean, I wish I had a picture of that moment so bad, right? It wasn't because somebody knew who I was. It was my wife's reaction to it, right? And we don't do it for that reason. We do it because we are a community. We do this show because we are the Eve community, and sometimes we go off on various tangents because sometimes there's not a lot happening in Eve. But on the 20th anniversary, right? And as much as we can complain about CCP, as much as we
we can
things, as much as we say on the show things are wrong with the game, right? In my lifetime, I have seen no video game
that does the same thing, brings people together that way. Yeah,
hundreds of people at a time, thousands of people at a time. No other video game can do this with the longevity of those relationships and friendships and memories. Think about it. Each of you have them. Right?
I mean, I'm looking at the people in this channel, and I'm kind of checking off people I've met, and there are 3 people in the channel currently that I haven't met. One is Horrendous, who just doesn't go to things. One is Eric.
I'm an antisocial bastard who hates all of humanity.
Yeah, I know, and this is why we've got on for the last 6 years anyway. One is Eric, because he's in the US and I haven't made it out to the US just yet. And one of them is Wibbler, who I will be meeting in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And of the rest of the people in the channel, we're talking about Amsterdam, we're talking about London, we're talking about, potentially FanFest or
don't forget Berlin.
Berlin,
I thought you said the lift there. I was going to make some joke.
I mean, Berlin especially was not a meet about EVE Online. It was a meet that we did with people who we knew from EVE Online, right? That's really, I think, the key thing. Is it's not just about, hey, CCP does an event, but we have communities where we run an event just because we want to see the people that we talk to on a regular basis, and we We want to spend a weekend getting drunk and having fun. And that is so different from so many other games. And I will give a shout out to Shay Gray in Twitch chat. Hey, I think I met you in 2019 in London, and yeah. Fucking great guy. Love you, man.
Yeah, I mean
that's the thing, right?
Go ahead, you finish.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna bring it back onto bits, but yeah, that's the thing. Like when I was saying, FanFest 2017, like there were quite a lot of us from CVA that met, and it was quite nice. You just don't get that any other way, and it was. I don't know how to describe it. Same with Eve London, right, Derek? When we were there, you just meet random people that you may have vaguely heard the name of, but now you get to know them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily you get to know them, but you get to meet them, you get to put a face to a name, you get to actually start to think of this person as a human being rather than just a name in a game. And it's so valuable, I think.
It's a very important moment. And the other kind of thing is like, you know, your first Eve meet is always going to be one where you're like, you know, particularly nervous because, you know, you've got this kind of really geeky thing that like you think is kind of like really cliquish, and like you're not sure as to whether people are going to take you at face value, right? When you meet them, but when you do, it's just like, you know, it may initially be slightly awkward, but then you fall into it, and it's just like, fucking, this is awesome.
I mean, I thought I had developed superpowers on my first Eve meet.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, like it.
He was that drunk.
We were sitting on a table with a bunch of people from Hogyoku, and someone walks by with a plate full of burgers, and I just nonchalantly said, "Man, those burgers look nice. I should get myself one." 5 minutes later, someone hands me a plate with a burger.
I mean, this is not one of those things that you expect, but I've definitely had moments where you're talking about Eve, and suddenly there's a tray of shots in front of you or something. You're talking about a fight that you were in that they were also in.
But on the other
suddenly
side,
there's a plate of shots in front of you, or that kind of thing, and it's a bit weird sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
You know,
like
you say that.
I remember. I don't know this person who's handing me a shot, but I'm not gonna turn down a shot. But also, it's kind of like very.
I mean, if we're talking like, but the other thing was, sorry, go for it.
I was just saying, as we've established, I don't actually go to events. For a number of reasons, not because I actually don't like people, but before my
he doesn't like people. Just to the point.
That's why I said not just because I don't like people. But before my time in Eve, I did do a number of events on a different event circuit, and honestly, what you guys are describing sounds a lot like Gen Con.
Okay.
Like it's the sort of thing that just where for no apparent reason shit just happens, and people you didn't realize you knew just walk up to you and go, "Dude," and that's it. Like it's like you've known them forever.
Hey, you know, since you brought up shots, I have to bring up one shot at an Eve Vegas. There was a table out there by the fire pit area at the Flamingo. And there was about six Eve devs, Eve CCP people, right, sitting over there. They weren't just devs, but they were various CCP people. And one of the members of our corp at the time, Patriotic Tendencies, he had gotten a disease and got very sick, and he was in a wheelchair essentially. And if you ever heard Mittens talk about the guy that got up out of the wheelchair and gave him a hug, this is that guy. And so these CCP people were over there, and we're over on our side, and we're like, dude, you gotta wheel over there with your wheelchair, with a platter full of shots for him, and then give him the shots. And when you go to do the toast with him, you gotta say, the Matani sends his regards. Okay? We sent him over. That's exactly what happened. And they just started laughing.
Can we say that anymore?
They just
to say that still.
They just laughing. Well, you know, I don't know. Let me check staff only chat here, okay?
Staff only isn't going to answer your question of can we say that still?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does. Hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta get past all this. I'm building and coordinating my fan stuff that Wibla put up there and go all the way back. And I believe.
Oh boy.
Look at that. The response. The response, but anything you want. Anything you want. So I'm going to say to our audience, you need to stay around to watch the meta show at 4.
Yes.
Because I actually have talking points on the meta show this week. But I'm not going to tell you why.
Yeah.
But I'm
this is the only meta show he has talking points on.
Yeah, the only one. Only one all year for freaking 5 years. Only first one. By the way. Yeah, you definitely want to watch the meta show. Because I will be your guest moderator, but I won't be on. I'll just be, any of you assholes who talk badly.
He'll just be ban-hammering people in Twitch chat.
Okay, that's my job all day.
Brisk has a number of really cool guests lined up.
Yep.
He may even let Mark back on the show after coming on ours.
Yeah. I love Mark's laid back attitude too. It's just he's there in the bathrobe.
I do want to ask in true push to talk fashion. We've talked a lot today about how people got into Eve, how Eve has actually been a big part of basically all of our lives. And I don't think I'm stretching too far when I say that it's been a big part of our lives, given that we're all here on a Twitch talk show about Eve for like 4 fucking years running. Have we talked real quick about the current event that is going on and potentially some of the issues about that event?
I don't believe we have.
What event?
No, we haven't today. We only have 15 minutes, so if you're gonna fucking rant, you only have.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna rant.
10 minutes.
I'm just gonna say that
parameters.
There was a New Eden Store memory leak that CCP introduced with the recent event, just for a start. But I think Soth has more on this. And it was a terrible fucking memory leak.
And we go to Soth. We go to Soth.
Yeah, so basically, if you open the New Eden store, which, by the way, you should do because you can get 50,000 skill points for free on both Alpha and Omega accounts. So grab that if you haven't yet. But if you do, there's a memory leak in the store that just causes Eve to gobble up all the memory it can get, which leads to poor performance. So if you open up the store, please make sure to restart your client.
So you're saying that the New Eden store demonstrates classic Eve performance?
Yes.
Clearly.
It demonstrates classic Eve performance from the boot I&I era, yes. That's really the thing, is like, the performance is fine, apart from the fact that it decides that it wants all of your RAM forever.
I don't think it's all of your RAM, but it's a lot. Like, I've seen screenshots of Eve taking up over 20 gigs of RAM.
It's basically all of your RAM forever until you restart.
20 gigs. Some people out there still don't.
I'm just going to say, Soth, when you designed my new PC, now you know why I stuck at the 128 gig of RAM limit, okay? Now you know.
The next memory leak could be designed for you then.
You have to log in for that one.
Yeah.
Oof, that is true.
I'm going for my 50,000 skill points. What are you talking about?
I got my 50,000 skill points as well, because the Alliance tournament is coming up, and spare skill points are spare skill points.
Alliance tournament?
Yeah,
another
that's
great
fair.
thing, right?
we're already having a ton of fun with the Alliance tournament. Like the team registration for people who are in Goonswarm or in the Imperium. I'm not aware of any other alliances. Actually, I think TNT has a team this year, don't you? You're doing a team again. Wibbler has signed off on a team being done, but he has no idea beyond that.
This was news to me, but I guess.
Thanks for telling Wibbler.
As you can see.
Thanks for telling Wibbler that he signed off.
I saw a thing from Indy. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you are looking to join the Alliance tournament and you are in the Imperium, we do have we do have a team. If you want to join the Imperium AT team, there's a sign up sheet that I will be closing in like 6-7 hours, something like that. Because that's just kind of how we're doing it this year. We do need some time to get people up to speed, but I will post the thread in Twitch chat. And yeah, if you want to sign up and you're listening to the show, please do. We will be happy to have you. And yeah, like the AT is great fun anyway. It's kind of dedicated 10v10 small gang fights. It's a ton of fun.
Alrighty.
All right, there we go. Sorry,
that was almost my one last thing.
I was about to say like we should probably get into one last things, but like that was kind of a one last thing almost from Doug.
Okay, so he's starting off the one last thing. Let's just put it that way. That's how it's working.
Mm-hmm.
All right, McCloud, you can run one last thing. It's your job.
I mean, there was a bunch of things because I thought like, I should probably, get some talking points and stuff up for the show, but clearly we didn't need any because it was just trip down memory lanes and like kind of like feels good man kind of like vibes for most of today, which was awesome. But I did want to kind of say that like I don't know if you guys saw, but today there was a Warner Brothers dropped a trailer for the second Dune film. And
that was yesterday. Just the point.
It wasn't even yesterday, Dirk. That was before that.
It was Thursday. It may have been Thursday.
It was 3 days ago. But it's already got 18 million views. It's already got 18 million views. But like, oh, dude, it just looks insane.
If anybody has not watched the June Part 1, you should, because it's fucking fantastic. And also, I'm hyped for June Part 2. It's going to be great.
Here's the problem with that.
3rd of November is going to be like absolutely fantastic.
I'm going to watch the first movie like the week before the second one comes out, I think.
I really want to find a cinema that's doing both of them back to back.
Oh, that would be great.
I'm thinking that's going to be my deal for the 3rd of November. Is like, I want to watch the first one again. Like, I've already watched it like 4 times, but
I didn't see the first one in cinema though. That's the thing. So like, I really want to see it in cinema. So.
In cinema, it was absolutely fantastic, and I think that whole bit of watch the first, then watch the second, that's going to be the thing. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Just wait till we're on like part 4 or something. Then try doing it.
It's going to be like watching all of the Lord of the Rings extended editions back to back. You'll literally murder your
McCloud,
backside.
They had that. They had the extended editions of 1, 2.
Oh, I know.
The premiere of 3, right? I went to that. That was awesome. Oh. I loved it.
What we're actually going to have is like, we're going to end up with a week off.
You've got the proper titles in there too, so that like, in 15, 20 years they can do Children of the Actors of Dune.
Yeah. But like this is going to be the thing. Is like we're going to end up having a week off of Push to Talk because everybody's going to be off watching Dune.
That by the way, that is like November my birthday 3rd, weekend. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Dune. Very excited.
It really is.
I have one of the rare first edition Dune encyclopedias, and I actually have a first printing autographed by Frank Herbert of the Heretics of Dune.
Ooh,
or the Children of Dune.
Nice.
Very
nice.
Show that. But yes, it's very cool. It's like one of my best purchases off eBay. It's very cool. But yeah. So we are going around. One last thing, Cloud. You're running the show there. So,
yeah. Like it's pretty much done there. To be fair.
Are you calling out the next person? You're running it. You're going with it.
Oh right, no. I was no. You
Slow
called for me.
running.
So like.
No, I said
who's
you run
next?
it. You call them out. You pick.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
dealer's choice, baby.
God damn it. Yeah. I got nothing here. Sorry.
No, wait, no, whoa. Soft.
Dirk
What?
already stole
You
my
don't have
one last
nothing.
thing with the Nest store. So
No, Soth. What's going on next weekend?
Oh, just a little thing. Like we're
It's
doing
the fact that I still have to remind him about what's going on next weekend. Soth,
look,
please be a real person and try and hype the thing.
I don't even know if it's happening yet. Looking at the signups, okay. But yeah, we're trying to do open practices for the Alliance tournament. On our own little channel called Eve Tournaments. So yeah, that's going to be next weekend, Saturday at 1900 UTC, and we're going to have some fantastic people on stream, including Mark Resurrectus, who's our host this year. So yeah, if you want to see some explosions, then tune in.
Is there a Discord server that you might be able to track things with?
I mean, of course there's a Discord server, and I'm sure you have an invite link ready.
Of course I may or may not be making one right now.
This is the high quality programming that you've come to expect and love here from Push to Talk.
Quite clearly.
If we only had fucking show notes, that link could have been already in there. But no.
That link would not have been in there anyway, because I would absolutely have been making it right now, regardless. But there it is in Twitch. I can't even copy a link properly at the minute.
This is why we can't have nice. This is why we can't have nice things.
If you wanna track what's going on with both Formula One and also the Alliance Tournament Open Practices, please do join the Discord that I just linked in Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's another weird thing with Eve nerds. Like you gather them in one place for like a tournament, and all of a sudden they all start talking about Formula One. Because
legit, we've watched Formula One while playing pool, or after playing pool, kind of thing as well. Like
before playing pool,
before or after?
It was before. We spent like 4 hours playing pool, and I spent 4 hours drinking Bloody Marys while playing pool, and then we moved to a table to watch the Formula One with CCP Confirmed, because CCP Confirmed is also a Formula One nerd, and we do love him overall, don't we, Soft? CCP Confirmed, great guy.
I can confirm we love CCP Confirmed.
It's about time we get that off the chest. Jesus.
I'll say.
Isn't there Formula One in Florida this weekend?
There might be.
No.
Next
or
weekend?
there might not be.
Is it Florida?
Florida, the greatest state.
No,
it's not the greatest state.
We're in
Miami. I give you all three guesses.
Yeah, Miami. There we go. Yeah,
give
Miami.
me 3 guesses which Formula One car I'm rooting for.
Is it Ferrari?
No.
Is it the one that pays your bills?
Maybe.
The reason I asked is it Ferrari is because Ferrari makes some questionable decisions a lot of the time.
Formula One.
But yeah, no.
You know what? Just because there's a Formula One race, I'm watching Ricky Bobby, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. NASCAR.
I do want to say, McLeod, or at least I want to point out, the bar that we ended up playing pool and watching Formula One at, which was a really chill place for the 7 or 8 hours we were there. Yeah. That was the only place I managed to get a Bloody Mary in London that weekend.
To me, that's a travesty.
So yeah,
but
that was a great sports bar. We should shout it out.
Yeah. I need to Google Maps that. Okay. Well,
where was it? We should shout them out.
I'm gonna try find it while other people, do their one last thing, and then I'll do another one last thing.
Bard Ghost, one last thing.
There, somebody's taking control of this show. Jesus.
I don't know for this week. I mean, 20th anniversary. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's the 20th anniversary, right? Congratulations to Eve, and hopefully 30th.
Alright. Bard Ghost, failed us significantly. Horrendous. I don't think you've done
What do you want me to say, Dirk?
I mean, it's a one last thing. So it's basically anything that hasn't come up that you wanted to talk about or wanted to mention, any shout outs or anything like that, or anything that you wanted to make a point about, in the show, but you weren't able to for some reason or whatever. It's basically anything like that.
I think I want to go last this time. I know exactly what I want to say, but I think it should go last.
I need time to find this bar.
All right.
Oh boy.
We haven't had a Webeler one last thing.
It's 20th. Yeah, that's true. 20th anniversary. I would just like to give a shout out to all the spouses who have tolerated this bullshit for 20 years from some of us. Well, not me. I'm single, but anyway. Some other people aren't. The people around these idiots who play this game, y'all are fucking great.
There you go. I call a golf clap on that one.
Yeah, he's still single.
No, that's a fair point. Any partner who tolerates you being an Eve nerd deserves some sort of shout out
praise
and
for sure.
General praise, yeah, for sure.
I'll never forget as you say that, I'll never forget my wife looking at me and saying, hold on, wait, you're not going to work because there's a what? What are you doing?
I'm not really sure myself, honey.
We're gonna blow some nerds up,
wasting my
honey.
goddamn life.
We're gonna go kill some nerds and blow some shit up, and we're gonna have a good time doing it. Thanks. Or did you go to sleep last night? That's other things. Are you still up? Did you go to sleep? Yeah. We're still fighting. See, we're still fighting. She goes, "What the hell's going on on the screen?" Hey, somebody tells me in my ear what I'm supposed to do, and I do it. She goes, "You play a game because somebody else tells you what to do?" I say, "Yes." Now, can't hear. We're doing some shit. They're telling me to warp or something. Get out of here. The shit smells.
Sorry, I'm going to be tied up for another 4 hours. It's just
you're playing a game where people tell you what to do and you do it. Yes.
The other half deserves.
How do we establish an FC in this marriage?
The best one was, honey, you're gonna have to go to dinner with my parents alone. I'm in a fleet.
Oh my god!
True story.
That is
nice.
Your wife is too fucking nice.
I have the greatest wife. I've said that a million times. If I were sitting here and she made a pot of coffee, she would bring me coffee into my office. If I'm working late on something, she brings me coffee, food, whatever. She's the greatest wife ever. She still doesn't like when I buy her jewelry, though. It's a shame. She deserves a lot. So, all right, who's next on the one last thing?
I need to dip, but I'll see you guys later.
All right, Dirk, thank you for everything.
So I found that.
By the way, I'm going to let the wife reaction be my one last thing because that was pretty good, I think. But that was all true experiences over the last 20 years.
So as promised, a shout out for that bar that was able to serve Bloody Marys and it was an absolutely great time. It's a pub or sports bar called the Moortown Bell at St. Catherine's Dock. So check that out. It's a great place. If you're in London, it's definitely a good place to get some good drinks and watch some sports. So yeah.
Excellent. Are we down to the last horrendous? I think we are.
Did Bart actually come up with something?
Not really.
No, he shit the bed.
I'm having a bit of a dead weekend. Like,
You're not going to talk about. You're not going to mention the fact that T2 capitals have been mentioned.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot
Triggered.
that.
Oh god, we gotta go over.
No, let's not get into that because that's worth an entire freaking.
Yeah,
Save
that's
it
true,
for
that's
when they actually drop the dev vlog on.
That might be. We might cover it next week. You never
Yeah.
know, but we'll definitely cover it when they drop the actual,
McLeod,
like
can you
some
put that-
more information
all I
about it.
will
Can you
say
put
on
that in
it.
the show notes for next week in Cloud, please?
Yeah.
Can you do that for me?
All I will say on it is there's an interesting Reddit post that you might want to go find if you're interested. Someone basically broke down the skins on the ships and figured what they might have as role specializations.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if he's right, but it's a good bit of playing around, right?
By the way, a quick one out to Dino XYZ. 23 months with their Prime subscription. Just remember, if you've got Amazon Prime and you're not subscribed to a Twitch channel, it's free to you. Throw it our way, please. Thank you.
That is true. That is true. And I would like to say, just before we kind of like, say our goodbyes, as it were, stick around in an hour. Check out Meta Show, because Meta Show is coming up. And obviously, next week, next Thursday / Friday, depending on your time zone, there's obviously Later Thursday. And of course, the channel does every so often, Let's Plays, as and when people kind of feel like doing it, sort of thing. So, like, keep an eye out for that sort of stuff because that's always cool.
Yep, and just remember, Meta Show, super secret, awesome guest. It's like they're on double super secret guest probation or something. I'm not sure. So I did watch Animal House like last week. It was kind of funny.
Are they going to have like a drape and then like a reveal or something? Like
maybe, I don't know.
That might be
I wouldn't
cool.
put anything past Brisk.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Could be
More importantly, I wouldn't put anything past Frank.
That's also true.
George is really behind it, right?
Maybe George is the guest.
Yeah, maybe it's George. Hey,
I'm actually going to hear from George.
By the way, we're 3 minutes over, so we really got to get to horrendous.
So, 20 years is a pretty freaking impressive achievement for any game. And while there have been missteps, I think that Eve is a particularly unique creature, not necessarily because of the game itself, but because of the community that's built up in the game. There's a lot of press that comes in about Eve, about all the terrible things that happen and all the horrible stuff that Eve players do to one another. But all in all, Eve players tend to be pretty decent people. And that's coming from a rampant misanthrope like me. But yeah, I think going into the next 20, really, I have to take a cue from Erik and cite a completely different medium, film, as he did, with my wishes for the next 20. Be excellent to one another.
Hey.
Party on, dudes.
Oh yeah.
By the way, golf clap again. That was excellent. Highest honor we give. Golf clap. That was beautiful.
I can't remember what that's from.
Hold on. Good thing I have that. Hold on. After that.
Also, somebody needs to slap Bard for not knowing Bill and Ted.
Oh, yeah.
I knew.
Okay. Bill.
By the way, you dropped a Matrix reference there that I thought should have got so much more appreciation. Just to say.
I'm just gonna say, Barghost, you gotta up your game at the one last thing. you have 2 shows to figure that out and get back. And that is the best.
I was drinking drink then, and that almost went all over the computer.
Oh.
Look, I got McLeod on his desk. That was worth it right there.
Dirk's gonna be so mad he missed that one.
Everybody, thank you so much for the follows. Thank you so much for
Click
the
that
subs.
shit.
Thank you for putting up with our crap for 2 hours, and I hope you enjoyed the show. You know, we do have Alliance Tournament and things come up. We will announce when we're on hiatus for some of those things and things that are going on there. We'll let you know. And we appreciate everything. So you guys have a wonderful day. Happy 20th anniversary to EVE Online and CCP Games. And remember, in less than an hour, you have the fabulous, amazing Meta Show with super secret guests. And a lot of
with
them.
Special guests.
It's gonna be
Aquarius George.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing show, folks. We'll see you there. Take care. And we are out of here.